Well, hey there guys, Conceptual Concept 6.9 here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and today I'm doing a review of the Sig 716i. Now this is Sig's battle rifle pre-spear. I know the Indian military is fielding this as a battle rifle. Most of the pictures, their iron sights are folded or one's folded down, so I don't know how much it's actually seeing use in the Indian military, but it might be a battle-tested gun with the India and Pakistan conflict right now. So we're gonna start by getting into the features, then we're gonna get into how it shoots, accuracy, etc. And then we are going to go ahead and roll into overall thoughts, POU, all that good stuff. So let's get into the features. It's got a 16-inch rifle length gas system barrel and a free float M-LOK handguard that's actually really rigid. There's not a lot of play in this. Moving back, the handguard actually is notched into the receiver, so very anti-rotational, not going to come loose. Now this is a almost 100% proprietary rifle, which is kind of a bummer, but it's made right as far as I can tell. It shoots really well. So the receivers are sourced from a few different forgers, but general gist is it's a pretty solid receiver. It's got dual ejectors on the bolt carrier group. Pretty nice feature to have as well. And a replaceable brass deflector. So that's, I can only figure, is if you're running steel, can eat away at the brass deflector on these aluminum uppers. So they put in a steel one and a replaceable steel one at that. Now it does have ambi magazine release on both sides here, but not an ambi bolt release. Don't really care about that personally. So moving back, the trigger on it, I've heard it described as a mil-spec trigger, but I can tell you I have never shot a mil-spec trigger that was as bad as the factory trigger on the Sig 716i. So I replaced it with a Schmidt two-stage trigger, just the curved one here. One thing I thought was interesting when I replaced it is this does use AR-15 trigger pins. So pretty cool there, right? And it comes with an ambi safety that's kind of oversized. I really like that feature personally because I like to engage my safety with my trigger finger and disengage with my thumb. So just preference there. Moving back, we have the sling swivels here. It does have ambi QD sling swivels on the back of the receiver. And then past that, it comes with a MOE-K or an SLK stock, a Magpul, which I think is an awful stock. So I replaced it with my go-to, which is the B5. Now let's get into what I've done to it. I have put a dead air chemo brake on here, and I run it almost exclusively with the Sandman K. The Sandman K is not a great can or sound, but it does a decent job with flash, and it takes all the concussion out of the gun. So it's much more pleasant to shoot, much more pleasant to run on that. Now I am running a flashlight here. I just have a Surefire head with a Reptilia body and a Surefire tail cap, just because it does get dark sometimes. And I'm running a bipod, just a Harris bipod of some sort, and it works well enough. Moving back, I was running a Trijicon VCOG on this for most of my shooting. However, since grouping this and taking it out to 500 yards shooting small steel targets, I decided to get something a little more range oriented. And our local classifieds had a Trijicon Credo 2-10 for sale for dirt cheap. I think I got this guy for 600, thought I'd slap it on here. Cause spoiler alert, this, I think, will make a really good DMR. The last change, now the charging handles are proprietary, but Sig regularly has these ambi charging handles in stock. I did replace the mil-spec style charging handle with a ambi charging handle just because it's got longer latches. It's much more easy to reach it under a scope. So those are the big changes I did to this to make it run. So now let's get into how it shoots, and then we'll get into my overall thoughts on POU. So initially I grouped the Sig 716i at 100 yards with a 10-shot group. The full 10-shot group was 2.2 MOA and the 9-shot group was 1.7 MOA, which, considering I was running off of a bipod with no bag, I feel is pretty good for a gas gun. And so we took it out to 500 yards at the Parma Rod and Gun Club in close to Boise, Idaho. And I was really surprised at how easy it was to hit the 10-inch plate at 500 yards as fast as I could pull the trigger. The only thing that was slowing me down was how much the plate was flipping back and forth. It was like maximum swing there, so I had to wait for it to stabilize. I'm going for the 5 hundo.
Okay. Aim right edge, because that wind. Hit. 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 Hit.
It's still swinging. Not giving it a break. All right, so we're gonna try the 9-shot drill from Modern Tactical Shooting using this Credo and the Sig 716i. Let's see how we do. Ooh, getting gassed out pretty quick. 3-3-1. And I threw one. I got a C zone on the right target. Let's see if we can go a little faster. Whew. And 3-2-8. Hate to say it though, I got another C. So this thing definitely bumps a little more, and this scope isn't ideal for this kind of shooting. So let's try another one. Oh, I threw those for sure. 3-3-6. Yeah, this thing definitely bumps a lot more. So I've got 3 C's on the right. Oh God, okay. Three, 3-3. So I'm really floating in that upper 3s with this, and I think it's a combination of the getting gassed out, the recoil, and the optic. I think if it weren't for the optic and probably the getting gassed out, because by the 3rd target I am like tearing up a little bit, I bet I could make it in the par time here. So is what it is. This is a 308 battle rifle, but as you can see, you can definitely shoot this thing relatively fast at close range. So now let's go ahead and try a bill drill on the center target here. I do have 2 rounds in the C zone right up against the line of the A zone there on the left hand side. So if I have any more C zone hits, I know I did not make par. So let's try this out. .165, not bad for a 308 rifle. One more. .162, and clean on both of those. So you can definitely make a 2 to 10 power scope work. All right, so in terms of POU for this guy, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the battle rifle concept in general. So I thought DMR, if it was accurate enough. And as shown in the shooting footage, it definitely is. It's printing, and this was with the VCOG on just a bipod, no bags to rest, nothing to stabilize outside of the bipod and my own shooting. Out of a 10-shot group, I got 2.1 or 2.2 MOA, and the 9-shot group was 1.7. And I want to note, 9-Hole Reviews did an excellent video on a M110 clone and general 308 gas gun accuracy. I'll put a card up here somewhere for that, because in their experience and mine, most 308 gas guns are not 1 MOA guns. So I was really happy to see the 1.7 MOA group, 9-shot group, and I know that one was a flyer. So really confident that with this bagged up, with a better shooter behind it, really stabilized, you could probably float in that 1.5 to 1.25 MOA group range. And so this will definitely serve as a DMR rifle out to like 700-800 yards with some authority. So that's why I chose to go with this. I think this makes for an excellent DMR rifle. Now, a lot of people think DMRs in 308 or 6.5 aren't as good of an idea because the effective range, or the goal range, is very close to the SPR. But I think you're neglecting some of what a DMR can do. For one, at range, being able to disable vehicles. A 308 is definitely going to punch through an engine block of an unarmored vehicle and stop it fairly quickly. It's also going to have a lot more authority out at those distances, probably be quite a bit more lethal than 5.56 at those distances. So I think there's benefit to that as well, and it's gonna buck wind a little better. Overall, I just think if you're doing a DMR setup, I think that a 308 isn't a bad route to go. Now, I'm not knocking SPRs. I really like the concept as well. I just think that this does some things that an SPR cannot. So that's where I think the Sig 716i fits, is because it is plenty accurate and plenty capable, and it is light enough to be used as such. It's not a CSAS or trying to take the role of an M110 or similar. It is meant to be at the squad level. It is light enough for people to carry. So I really think that is where this really shines. And it's been proving to definitely do that. So end of day, with all the SIG controversy going on, do I think that this is still worthwhile? Yeah. Now, some people are choosing to almost boycott SIG. I can't fault you for that. They're definitely making some decisions and statements that makes people question their integrity and whether you want to support a business like that. Now, I do want to say that I got this before all that nonsense was going on. Well, before it ends today, right? NDs today. But it has been serving me really well. And I think at the price point that you can get these, which between $1,300 and $1,500, I think is probably your best bet for a 308 DMR over building one. Because again, this is a military rifle, which I guess the 320 is a military pistol. So take that for what you will, but I think this will hold up. I definitely think it's accurate enough and reliable enough, because I have treated this like garbage, to justify running one. But that's for you to decide. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you later.